Hey everyone, this is a clip from a recent episode of Another Pass, where we talk about movies and all the struggles that go into making them. If you like it, check out the whole podcast. You can find it at certainpov.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Like, the original Ninja Turtles comics, being a parody of like Frank Miller stuff, is dark and grim and has a lot of like violent kind of undertones to it. And the movie picked up from that, and the TV show went its own way. And then you get this movie where they're trying to like have two masters, like they're trying to appeal to the previous movie, but at the same time make it more like this cartoon. And so all those weapons, they're not used. We get things like, the Foot Clan are way less effective in this movie, and part of that is that their numbers have been decimated. But like, there's some really obvious shots where there's just like a bunch of them standing in the background being like, yeah, we're gonna come at you eventually.
That was one of the things that this rewatch for me was like, wait a second. So you've got like Tatsu, and actually in one scene, even the Shredder just like standing there with their arms folded, and Tatsu's like, and there's nothing. They're not doing anything. Like if they actually all fought the turtles, they might have actually had a chance, but they're just standing and watching and like, oh yep, he's gonna get kicked, whatever.
Yep.
It's a totally different thing. Whereas I think the first movie, I felt like there wasn't any time where there were big bad guys just standing there doing nothing. So.
No, I mean, I don't think they ever really fight Tatsu in the first one, and then Shredder obviously whoops their ass at the end of the movie so badly that Splinter has to actually step in. So, yeah, it's rare where you have someone kind of like looking on, but then you also constantly have shots of like a whole bunch of the Foot just standing there, and then they leap into action, and like, okay, finally we're getting into this all. Like, that was a like. This movie shares a lot of beats with the first movie. Like, Raph goes off and like gets captured on his own kind of situation. Kurt's the same way as what kind of happens in the first one. But in that one, it's like, how do you expect to beat me? And then it's like, good answer when he's like completely surrounded.
Better joke, yes.
Right. And then they cut to him already being like out, because of course, like, weirdly, the first movie, the conservation of ninjutsu rule, while it kind of is in play, it like is avoided at a few spots, and that's one of those spots. The conservation of ninjutsu rule is a trope meme that exists on the internet of like, if you have a lot of ninjas, you'll beat their ass, and if you have one ninja, that you can't win. Because the ninjutsu spread too thin. And this movie is definitely going on with that, because every time there's like a big fight, everyone's fine. like it's like they come at you one at a time. Raphael is able to just like kind of dance around the fight. It's just nowhere near as intense, and the stakes aren't there. Like, they'll capture him, they're not going to kill him, which was kind of the implication of the first movie. They're like actively trying to cut their heads off with axes while the building is burning down. No, this is just a junkyard. We're just going to beat you up and then tie you up. Like, different stakes.
Yeah, the other difference, and I think part of this, it's an interesting commentary on the movie by the movie, is Splinter is really on the Turtles like the whole time about like, hey, were you seen? Were you seen? Were you seen? And this whole movie, the Turtles are basically like, nah, we weren't seen, but they were totally not trying to not be seen. Whereas in the first movie, there was the whole the whole idea of actually being stealthy and things like that. They were trying to do that in the first movie. In the second movie, it's like, okay, well, we know the kids just want big bad action and things like that. So I feel like that was a bit of the writers going like, listen, really ninjas should be trying to be like on the down low, but no, Splinter's going to make a comment about that, and that's what we're going to get. So
yeah, I think it's too, like, it's really fun because I think they like basically were like, we're gonna do this just for the joke at the very end, with Splinter being like, oh really, work harder, holding up that newspaper showing that they've been seen. Like, I feel like the writer was like, this is gonna be great. But I also feel like because of this, the Turtles learn nothing this entire movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, like, that's my biggest note on this movie, which is none of them have arcs.
They don't have arcs. Like they go, they do. Like, they're not even mildly suspicious that Raphael has gone missing. Considering what happened the last time, you'd think they'd be a tiny bit more worried. And I know he's a hothead. I know he goes for walks. But he hasn't come back and no one's heard from him. And last movie, he kind of got his ass kicked. So, like, maybe you guys would be, like, a little more alarmed. There's just, like, small things where, like, it's just, like, we're here to have fun. Like, don't get me wrong. I smiled from beginning to end rewatching this, partially because just nostalgia. Like, I was like, I don't know if I can actually watch this objectively. Like, I am enjoying all of the terrible puns. I am enjoying all of the slapstick action. I am ridiculously a child right now, and I don't really care, and almost have no notes. But I do, right? Because, like, they don't really learn a lesson at all. And in fact, they lie to Master Splinter. They're like, nope, not seen at all. You guys did a dance break with Vanilla Ice. What are you guys talking about?
Oh no, but that was okay because, you know, they didn't know they weren't in costumes. You know, people thought they were in costumes, right? The Turtles could have sold it that way. You know, they're not that smart. Definitely. They're teenagers.
I mean, that's what April's there for, right? But
right, spin the news. And I mean, like, Vanilla Ice rolled with it pretty well, too. So, like, you know, all of a sudden they're doing a musical number. Everyone there was like, these costumes, I love this place.
Yeah. Honestly, I will say, as problematic as he is, that song's still a bop.
Oh, yeah.
Still a bop.
Yeah.
Ninja Rap was great.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go. I really, my favorite part of that scene is where the promoter is like, oh my God, who ordered the extras? You know, we got to call the cops. And then, like, you know, that some stuff happens and they come back to that guy later. No, they love it. What are you thinking? Why are you calling the cops? You know?
And his assistant is like on the phone. I finally got the cops. No, why are you calling the cops? They love it. Poor guy.
Remember, if you like that clip, check out the podcast. You can find it at certainpov.com or wherever you get your podcasts.